Okay.
Oh, goodness me.
And we're back.
We are back.
My name is Patrick William.
I am Austin Jenny.
We are your hosts. This podcast is called
Quiet in the back. That's right.
the only film review podcast on the internet.
Yeah, the only one.
The only podcast
On the
Internet.
interweb. This is Internet 3.
Austin. Last week we watched a regrettable Israeli propaganda movie.
That was a mistake. That was a choice that we made, not knowing what we were doing. We had read some misinformation.
It seemed like a cool movie on the outset,
Yeah.
and by the end of the experience we realized it was a very one-sided story, and it stopped just short of getting to the events of the Nakba.
Yes. Literally, I think if you were to time it out, probably a week before this movie started.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
So we picked another movie, the other side of the coin, so to speak, to follow it up. It's called Farha,
Yeah.
a 2021 film directed by a Jordanian filmmaker named Darin Sallam.
Yeah. And it's truly, I mean, I don't think we could have picked a better polar opposite as far as like a biased perspective piece goes. Because, I mean, it's the story, A Tale of Love and Darkness is the story of a young Jewish boy growing up right before the Nakba, right after the events of the Holocaust, settling into Israel after its creation by the British. And this is a young Palestinian girl right after that happened in 1948 when the Jewish begin their Nakba.
Yes. So this movie picks up literally like right where the other one leaves off. At the beginning of the Nakba in 1948.
Yes.
And I noticed at the beginning, I was trying to pay attention to the credits, the production studios. None of them rang any bells, but I did see one that was like the Jordan, the country of like Jordan Culture Fund, something like that. So to the extent that the previous movie was like a state-funded film, I don't know how equivalently this one was sort of state-funded as well.
Yeah.
But to some degree, I think it was.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
I think it was just a cultural... The truth of this type of content is that objectivity is impossible.
yeah.
And especially when you're telling anecdotal and personal stories and you're doing so from a place where you are the type of person that's the subject matter, right? It's not like an American trying to tell the history of Sweden or something like that.
No, yeah,
right?
this is a very different
These
situation.
are very like embedded subject matters where the person telling the story is the person who was in the story. And so it's just very partial and like you said, biased.
Yeah, it's very, very biased.
So I watched it with that in mind. I think this is like a counterpoint to the other movie that doesn't make it objective and that doesn't make it like more truthful or correct than the other movie.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think that's the right way to watch any movie like this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you. And it's just important to like acknowledge those things before you really choose to sit down and watch a movie like this, you know. But that all being said, on every level, this is a better movie.
This is such a better film.
Every single level.
It's crazy.
Acting. Unreal.
Yep.
Fan-fucking-tastic across the board. You know?
Really good acting.
I mean, Farha herself, what the hell? Who is she? How is she one of the best young actresses
I've never seen like a 14-year-old child actor with such depth.
Seriously, dude. Like, insane. I was not ready for where this movie was going. Because, like, I didn't really know what sort of style they were going to come at this plot with, you know? Like,
dude, the directing was so good.
It was so good.
Some of the overall, just like the artistic choice of the way that the story is presented through the eyes of the little girl.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah, because it very much so feels like it's coming through the innocence of of a young child, you know?
I wrote down, it reflects the perception of the world by a child.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when she's just hearing the whispers of an adult talking and how she can tell it's serious, but she doesn't really know what's going on. For one, because she's not educated at all on it.
Right.
And yeah,
she's always spying on her father and his brother as they talk about current affairs.
Yeah.
And like you said, she doesn't know what any of it really means. She can just tell it's like serious.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get this really... So one thing I noticed is that the camera never leaves Farha.
Oh, you're totally right.
For the entire film. No shot in this movie ever happens that's not either a point of view shot through her eyes or has her in the frame and is like right with her.
Totally. You're totally right.
The entire film is just like a POV of a little girl, which is crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's a cool way of making a film. I wanted to like start this episode by talking about the film and not the content, if we can possibly do that.
Yeah,
because
100%.
This is just such a better directed and better made movie than the previous one.
I mean, like I said, on every level. The technical abilities of this director were, I mean, amazing. They were just purely amazing. Flawless in a lot of ways in my eyes. Some of those shots in between the seams of the wood.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, I guess like part of being able to talk about this, we do have to like go through some plot just to set up what's happening in the scene.
Yeah.
But I just want to get through some of the formal stuff because it was so impressive before we deep dive into like what it means.
Yeah.
But for a good chunk of this movie, and I did not see this coming, her dad puts her into the food cellar.
Yeah.
It's like a basement, external basement type of thing where they keep all their food.
Like a classic root cellar sort of situation, kind of.
He locks her in there because, you know, it's the Nakba's happening. It's dangerous. There's British troops coming through their village.
Yeah.
And,
not British, IDF.
Well, yeah, but they were being led by the British.
Were they?
Yeah, the guy has like an English accent. He's like distinctly British.
Oh.
That's what I actually noticed in this movie. So there is a Jewish soldier with them, but the leader is British, and all of the characters, they distinctly are only ever like talking about the British army, the British soldiers. They're presented as the enemies, like not the Jews.
Interesting. I really thought that those were just IDF soldiers.
I assumed it would be, and I assume that it's a joint operation, but I think they were being led by the British army. And it made me wonder, like, to what extent all of this is England's fault.
Well, I mean, that is very much so arguable, you know?
Man, it is impossible not to get through this movie without just talking about the Nakba.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, we still kind of can. Nonetheless, I mean, it's the majority of the movie, surprisingly, is coming from the perspective of just inside this root cellar.
Yeah.
You know, this.
So I looked it up, and it's half the movie.
Half the movie.
It's just under half. It's like 40 minutes of its 90-minute runtime takes place in one room inside of a root cellar from her POV. And like you said, it's like camera shots that are looking through like slots in the door or through these tiny windows. It's these really intimate close-up shots of her just sort of huddling next to like bags of lentils. It's her reading a book by the oil lamp, and then the oil runs out.
Yeah.
It's so like slow for a while. It's very slow and quiet and contemplative because not much is going on outside. She'll just hear like the occasional explosion or something, but it's like really just her and her thoughts. until the really bad shit starts happening.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, just like the camera work, the compositional ability to like shoot those really tight, intimate shots.
Yeah.
It's very dark. Doing the point of view through like the windows and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I was really impressed with this filmmaker.
Me too. I was locked in. There was
Yeah.
like, you know, never once during that where you would say, you know, where you say it does become slow, and that is accurate, you know, because she's just kind of trying to like figure out what to do, and she's just kind of just surviving at that point, you know. Yeah. Never once was it boring, like at all. For
Right.
me. It was just experiencing. You're just in the room with her, and it very much so feels like it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
This is a very sad story. So it's inspired by true events.
Yeah.
The other one was based on a book. This one is based on, I think, oral storytelling.
Yep.
Stories that were passed on and made their way through a couple generations to this young filmmaker, Darin Sallam, who he said that he was told the story when he was young. I saw like a quick interview with him, and it stuck with him. And it's basically like always been the story he wanted to tell.
Wow.
And he did such a great job. But it's like, I'm fully like willing to believe that the events portrayed in this movie as experienced by the girl happened. Like as a viewer of this movie, it just feels pretty damn believable.
Yeah, 100%. And it's also not to say that it happened in every case. You know, it's
Right.
I doubt that. Well, I don't know if I doubt, but I'm sure that there wasn't as much direct, widespread cruelty amongst every situation. You know, one would like to think.
Right. So like I saw that when this movie came out, a bunch of state, like Israeli state representatives criticized the movie. They claimed that it portrayed the IDF soldiers as like Nazi-esque and cruel. And they said that it was preposterous that they acted that way, etc. And it's just one of those things where like if it happened one time to one person,
That is enough.
yeah, exactly. Like that person experienced this, right? And just because maybe it happened like some percentage of the time differently,
Yeah,
that doesn't discredit this story.
100%.
It doesn't mean that what you're meant to take away from this movie is that like 100% of encounters went this way, or that like all IDF soldiers were Nazi-esque,
Yeah,
or whatever.
of course.
It's just like, it's important to get these stories out because like the Palestinian voice and identity has largely just been like erased.
What Palestinian voice?
Exactly.
That's
like
the
Hollywood
problem.
erases them
Yeah.
from existence.
You know who else was a huge detractor from the movie was the Fox, the guy in charge of Fox.
Rupert Murdoch.
Whoever the CEO of Fox is, if it's Rupert Murdoch, made a fucking stink about it to Netflix.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I gotta say, kudos to fucking Netflix.
Yeah.
For having this shit on there. Because I mean this is rough. Like this
Dude.
This movie gets
They were getting
upsetting.
a lot of grief over the release of this movie, and they just formally never made a comment.
Yeah.
And they just kept it up. They just said, fuck it.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
deserves to be up.
That's the way to do it too.
So yeah, it's nice to see some backbone from like a major corporation for once,
Yeah, totally.
putting out something that's like contrary to acceptable narratives. Shift the Overton window a little bit. Expand your view of the world.
Yes. Ugh.
So yeah, this is a fantastically directed movie. It's personal, it's subjective, and it is traumatic.
Yep.
As far as the plot goes, we follow a young girl whose father is the mayor of their village. The village is being presented as very rural and sort of like, what would be the word? Like, they don't have technology really. It's like it's all like adobe buildings. They have water from a well.
Yeah, they're farming. They,
I feel like the word primitive is a little bit reductive and negative. Yeah. I don't think that these are primitive people, but they're living a sort of a primitive lifestyle, I guess, is a fair way of putting it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean,
just in terms of technology.
Yeah. You consider, I guess, rustic for the time or something, Like, there's cars, obviously, it's 1948, and her uncle drives a car from the city to come see them.
Right.
But at the village, it's obviously quite poor, you know.
The village is more rural than the main cities, and they're probably, like, a generation behind on the average of, like, what people are living like in other places.
Yeah, I would reckon.
But her dad's the mayor. He's a powerful person in their village. And he is like all powerful in the family. Like, what he says goes. And she really wants to go to school in the city. And I thought that would become a much bigger plot point.
As did I. I really did. I thought she was going to the city.
Yeah, I thought her journey to the city would become like a central arc of the story. And then she would witness things and have to like survive and flee on her own, like during the Nakba.
Yeah.
That's not what happens in this movie.
No, not at all.
Her father grants her permission to go to the city, and like the morning after he like gives her permission, the Nakba begins in their village.
Yeah. It is made clear that it's already started in other villages. He has this meeting with this group of guys who's like basically saying, consider most of the southern villages just gone.
They show up like armed.
Yeah.
Like these are people who are like
active.
They're trying to recruit him for support.
Yeah. They're like active. It's like an active militia essentially, Resistance.
And he like refuses to participate because it hasn't gotten to his village yet or something, and he needs to look out for his people. It was very like provincial minded, I thought at the time. I was like, I don't think that this guy sees like the big picture. But like, how could you if you don't have like the context of history to like, he doesn't know what's happening, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't.
You want to think the best about other people, and you want to think that things are gonna turn out okay, and you can like, these are reasonable people. We haven't done anything wrong. We negotiate.
Yeah.
Right. No, you underestimated your enemy.
Yeah. No kidding.
These are ruthless people that want your land, and they don't care about you.
Yeah.
But not much happens in this movie. You just get sort of like a beginning introduction to these characters. You get a little bit of like relationship building, and then it begins. And she has the opportunity. He puts her in a car, and she has the opportunity to go to the city as they're fleeing. And she's like, I can't leave behind my dad. Gets out and like clings to him. And he kind of like understands that she's not going to leave him. So he just like accepts the circumstances.
Yeah.
And in order to keep her safe, he locks her in that root cellar. And he's like, I will be back for you. Don't leave.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That is a really rough decision to make.
Yeah.
Because she surely would have died. She's not going to have her fight. She does not use a gun or anything like that.
She's just a liability if she comes with him, because he's about to go like pick up arms and fight.
Yeah.
He's a fighter at this point.
And he can't hide, with her because he's the mayor. I mean, he could.
But it would be perceived as cowardly. Even if the Palestinians survive and win, people would be like, well, where were you?
Yeah.
Like, he has a role to play, and he's got to stick to his role and do this. So his only option to keep her safe is kind of like stash her away.
Yeah.
Hope he survives and can return to her. Because he locks her in. Like, she actually can't get out.
No, yeah, she is all the way stuck, for sure.
Fortunately, she's stuck in a room that's full of food and resources.
Well, no water.
Right. She doesn't have water. She just collects rain one time. She's got some sort of liquid. It's like pickling liquid she tries to drink or something.
Yeah, that's like the worst
gross.
thing you can fucking drink.
Briny
Yeah.
and dehydrating you.
Yeah, absolutely. Straight olive juice, dude. No, thank you.
Yeah. So the situation is tough. And like we said, like a decent chunk of this section is like slow and quiet and nothing's happening. And you just sit with her in there.
Yeah, you sit with her and you hear. You hear the reality of what's happening outside. I mean, it's pretty unclear, and I feel like it's meant to be a bit hazy and foggy, the way that she's interpreting the sounds that are coming out. It's just like general warfare sounds, you know. Every once in a while, it'll be a scream, and then every once in a while, someone will walk by the door, and she will go up and say, "Dad," but no response. That sort of situation. Just a lot of confusion from a child in that situation, really.
Yeah. And you have like this distance between what's like the actual conflict and then her perspective. So it's like distant sounds and nothing to see. And it's just such an interesting way of telling a story of conflict.
Yeah.
From a perspective of someone like tucked away, like not actually seeing any of the conflict, just like the fear and confusion. I thought that the initial scene too, where like her dad is like running around, everyone's yelling. The moment they start getting, you hear like explosions. I don't know if they're getting bombed or what.
Yeah.
But it really captured like the chaos and fear and confusion of what it would be like to just be attacked.
Yeah. Especially from, you know, technically all sides, you know.
Yeah. Just, we're being attacked. Like, what do? They're just running around like chickens with their heads cut off. They don't have, he says earlier, like, we don't have a trained army. We don't have, like, weapons. We don't have equipment.
We have a couple of rusty guns.
Yeah.
What they
and
say
half our bullets are like defective.
Yeah.
So, like, these are not soldiers. These are not people that are, like, prepared for battle. There's no real, like, resistance capability to speak of.
Yeah. At least not here.
Yeah. I mean, overall, the Nakba from a, like, IDF perspective was, like, extremely successful, right? There was, like, basically, like, no effective Palestinian resistance.
Yeah.
It was a steamroller operation.
Yeah, and then the countries that did come and help, you know, helped a little bit, but like they didn't actually really, you know, they didn't do much.
I read that over 40 Palestinian villages like the one portrayed in this movie were destroyed and evacuated by the IDF, and there were plenty more that weren't, but that were like the I'm struggling to remember what I read. Either it's the filmmaker, Darin Sallam, his family. He grew up in Jordan, but parts of Jordan now are annexed during this period from Palestine.
Yeah.
And I think that his family is well, I know they're of Palestinian descent, but I think they were in one of the villages that wasn't destroyed.
Gotcha.
But was then annexed by Jordan. So like this, it affects everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're the fear, you know, it would be the fear of that too is going to do such a number. I'm sure so many of those villages were probably, you know, they opted in to evacuate too because they assumed they would be next and you know, that sort of situation. Those fucking hearing the sirens and like the loudspeakers of like get out or die. And shit was so dread-inducing, man.
I wrote, "Get out or get killed in your houses" is one of the lines I heard.
Yeah.
Just gnarly.
Yeah.
And I did note that those were in English, I think. Some of it. No. Maybe that's just the subtitles.
Yeah, the subtitles were. It's just
all the subtitles were English.
Yeah.
But the soldier speaks English with the mayor, and he speaks back in English as well at some point in this film, like in the baby mayor. In the sequence with the baby, because remember her dad comes back with a bag on his head.
Was that her dad?
Yeah, that was her dad. And he looks into the cellar with his one eye, and he says her name.
Mm-hmm.
And she cries. But yeah, that was her dad. He comes back as a prisoner of like 3 IDF soldiers.
Yeah.
But one of them is British, and the leader is like British, and they speak in English a little bit. And I think that's like so that other people don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, it's so that family couldn't understand them. I think I know what you're saying.
Because he's saying like, don't kill her. She's just a woman. She's just a woman.
Yeah. It's so hard when you're watching something in subtitles because you're reading all of that in English. It's like once you get into a movie and you're locked in like that, it begins to just like you're associating the sounds with English. You know?
Mixes all together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did notice that they spoke a little bit in English. And that's when I sort of like it sort of clicked for me for a moment. I was like, oh, this is a British guy. Because he speaks with an English accent too. This is a British guy who's like in charge of these Jewish soldiers. Because like one of the women soldiers, like I couldn't tell, but she seemed Palestinian.
Yeah, or something. I don't
really can't tell, but
yeah.
There's one soldier with a yarmulke, and thank God he didn't stomp that baby.
I really thought he was gonna stomp the baby, dude.
Not that the baby lives. But
no, it's not any better, really, but it is because he didn't stomp the baby,
and they didn't make me see that.
Yes. No shit.
Honestly, I thought that was very interesting too as a storytelling choice, regardless of the truth of it, because perception is important too. But it's the British soldier who is portrayed as extremely vile and evil. And then it's actually the Jewish soldier who is shown to have a conscience and like refrains from doing like the harm to the baby. And he doesn't save the baby, he just leaves.
Yeah.
But
he isn't able to. He isn't morally able to literally follow that order and
but he's been commanded to stomp a baby to death.
Yeah.
And he like doesn't do it and just walks away.
No, and I think
it's sick.
It's a great stand-in metaphorically as well to like present, you know. It's not necessarily every it's just not individually every IDF soldier or Israeli person's malice that is causing even today's atrocities.
Exactly.
It is very much so a state down thing,
It just made me think in the moment watching that scene, like that has to be a deliberate choice by the filmmaker. You don't do that by accident.
Of course.
And the symbolism of that feels like it has weight. Like if you're gonna look back at history at a war crime, right? Something so traumatic like this, and pass judgment, because that's what humans do. And when it comes to crimes, you should be passing judgment.
Yes.
You shouldn't just like accept this. We should have judgments about these things. If you're gonna do that, and you're gonna invoke emotion and stuff like that, it feels like this filmmaker is showing a lot of compassion and restraint about passing judgment on like Jews broadly.
I 100% agree. I think that exact scene served that purpose greatly.
Right.
Because he could have.
He could have,
and I would have believed it.
They could have told a slightly different version of the story. I would have believed. They could have switched the roles.
Yeah.
They could have been no British captain. It could have been all IDF. Really paint the IDF as disgusting.
Yeah.
They could have been all British.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of different ways you can write this, and it has different implications, and it makes you feel different things about the groups being represented. So it had to be deliberate. I thought it was kind of funny at the beginning when those kids were like shooting rubber band guns and throwing rocks at the British soldiers too.
Yeah, definitely.
And they hit one of them.
Yeah.
I hit that British soldier. Like hit him with a rock.
I really thought that was going to cause some shit, actually.
I know. I thought we were going to watch a war crime in like the first 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man. The beginning of this movie feels really ominous. I would say, you know? It's like things are, you can just tell that there's, with viewing her view her father's interactions, you can tell how much stress and tension is in the mind of the adults. And like that exact scene where her and her friend are swinging, and I was like just sitting in my head, I was like, it's about to go wrong. It's something. It's about to all fuck up, and right then you start hearing the bombs and the guns. I was like, oh God.
The movie starts with all the young girls in like this kind of like cool, luscious grotto. It's like full of fig trees.
Yeah.
And there's a waterfall. And they're just like picking figs and reading. And it's really serene and idyllic. And slowly the movie gets more and more sort of like nerve-wracking. But by the end of the movie, she returns to that same pool. And it's like just much grayer.
Yeah.
There's worse like light. Like I feel like visually the director just made it look like apocalyptic.
Well, yeah, her whole world is darker.
Yeah.
You know, her entire viewpoint. And, you know, I need to emphasize that again, especially because we're watching this directly after Tale of Love and Darkness. This is how you do color in a movie.
Right?
The whole time. It's great. It's fucking phenomenal color. It
looked so good.
The whole time.
They were able to achieve this sort of like muted, somber color tone.
Yeah.
That looks like earthy and subdued without it just actually being gray.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like the gray, like almost gray scale almost of it, you know, it was very tasteful. I was never once being like, oh, this is just, you know,
it wasn't visually boring.
No.
It was just like artistically muted.
Yeah.
And made it look.
How you begin to do that?
That's just professional color grading.
Yeah.
It's a whole career. You know, I dabble with like the lightest of color grading techniques when I do my little videos, but these guys just know so much about how all the color science and all that, and this was just great. It looked the way that it needed to look to have a matching tone to like the somber and tragic material. Because if her clothes were like popping vibrant or whatever, the trees are too green and sky's blue, it's like, is this happy? Right?
Yeah.
So you can't do that.
Yeah.
But in Tale of Love and Darkness, it's like, I mean, it's like yellow and green, which is just like weird and matrixy. But then beyond that, it was also just like
so flat,
gray and flat. Like it wasn't like a well done example of like how to use color to set the tone. It was just like badly done.
In the Root Cellar, there's so much depth, and you're in a room about the size of this fucking studio, which is not that big for the viewers. Not yet, baby. Let's
Massive vaulted ceilings, fountains.
Yes, fountains and Jesus. But yes, no, I mean it's just so mighty impressive how much they were able to fit in this tiny, tiny workspace.
The whole sequence with the baby is just absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, man. I had to like pause it and like take a second. I was like, let me chill the fuck out.
So at first, you just see a man and a woman like enter the courtyard.
Yeah, and like the two girls.
Or Farha sees it through the door. And one of the women is pregnant and they're giving birth now.
Yeah, right now.
It's happening now. And I actually thought it was kind of funny. I like wrote it down because my wife is pregnant. I'm getting ready mentally to like deliver a baby and go through this process. This woman gave birth in the courtyard in like under 2 minutes and then got up and walked away.
Unbelievable. Like what a strong woman.
Yeah.
Holy, I cannot imagine.
Right.
And being able to stifle her own cries like that. Right. I can't even begin to fathom what that would be like.
Like part of me is like, okay, no matter the context, giving birth is going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be hard, but it's just impossible to put yourself in the shoes of someone who's in an active like war zone where like your life is on the line, the life of everyone you know is on the line.
Yeah, your two other kids that are right there.
And then being like, okay, time out, I have to give birth. And then just like the motivation you would have to just get that over with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your body
maybe it can be done in under 10 minutes. I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say, you know.
But they give birth. So there is a newborn infant on the premises.
Yeah.
Which they immediately hide because they hear like Jeeps coming up the road, and it's British. It's the IDF. I took it as a British soldier. It's unclear, I suppose, who's in charge. But the British are coming.
Yeah.
So they hide the baby, they hide the women, and the guy in the courtyard like gets spotted.
Well, no, because they're playing over the loudspeaker. Get out of your houses or die. That's
he
the
comes
situation again. So he offers himself. He walks out, and
That's
then the soldiers go and show up with the dude with the father, the mayor, in a bag.
Yeah, so he's got a bag over his head. He's like a prisoner of war status.
Turning in.
Yeah, because he's the mayor, they're using him. They're like dragging him around and using him to communicate with the other villagers that they capture. And they're trying to press him for information on like, where are these people hiding their guns, right? Like, where are their hiding spots? You know this town better than anyone. So they're just like using him as a tool, basically.
Yeah.
Which sucks for him.
It really does.
Like, he doesn't want to betray his people. He also doesn't want to see anyone get killed.
Yeah, it's like also like what... I mean, I guess he has choices. He could just recklessly get himself killed to not do that. But, he's also... I feel like he's also trying to push... He's pushing for the women and children not to be killed. And
exactly. He's trying to do the most amount of good he can by like negotiating and talking to people and getting them to cooperate.
Yeah, and quickly we find out that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, so they search the woman. They're like, "Are you pregnant?" They search the man. They're searching the house for guns. The father is saying, like, you won't find any guns here. He's just a villager. He's not a fighter. But they find the baby.
Yeah.
And my first reaction was like, okay, this is bad, but I don't exactly know why. A baby's not a gun. Like, it was ominous, and I knew something bad was going to happen. But I was like, what are these people actually going to do here? Because it's just another person. Like, what's the problem with that?
Yeah.
But they just take it so personally that they were hiding anything, and immediately like becomes such a big issue.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. It's just, to me, it seems like they really just were looking for any reason, Right. And it just, I sort of just started to think of it in terms of the bigger picture of what the Nakba was all about, which is just getting rid of Palestinians. Yes.
And so, they may not have been instructed explicitly to like kill people. The goal is just to get them out of their villages and take the land. But I think in this time period and with the people who are in charge, there probably wasn't too much
oversight.
Like pushback or repercussions.
No, you're probably rewarded for it.
Yeah, for these deaths. So they literally just line this family up and execute them point blank.
And they all die except for the baby.
Yeah. And the British guy makes the young Jewish soldier deal with the baby, and they all walk away, and he just can't. He's shown to like almost do it.
Yeah, and then he
doesn't.
freaks out.
Yeah.
He just covers the baby and then leaves. Those next scenes where she can't get out.
Haunting.
And that baby is just crying and dying.
It's just tragic. So she's locked in the root cellar. There's just one big wooden door with an iron lock on it between her and a baby. The baby's just laying out in the courtyard.
In the sun.
It's just crying.
Yeah.
And
next to his dead family.
She just wants to get out to that baby so badly.
She's throwing herself at the fucking at the door, throwing anything she can. Like, she has, like, this little knife her dad gave her. She's trying to, like, wedge it in the hinge and hit it with a log. She's trying to pry it.
She's trying to smash the lock with this big piece of wood.
Yeah.
Nothing's working.
I took her getting her period as her, like, hurting her body to the point where she did that after hurling herself into the door.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that she has her period in this moment, and
or the stress, all of that combined, you know what I mean?
I think on the one hand it's just like a natural thing that can happen at any time to a woman.
Of course.
But I think the inclusion of it specifically in this scene, part of me thought that it was like the director's way of showing that she's in a war too. Like, it's her blood being, like, she's spilling her own blood, even though she's not in like a gunfight.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a part of this conflict, and it just felt symbolic to me that, like,
yeah, and like almost like the forced graduation from being a child to a woman through this conflict.
Yeah, it's just like it's a loss of innocence.
Yeah. God, man.
She doesn't get the door open for quite a while. Like, she sleeps through the night.
The baby stops crying.
Yeah, and it's, you know, she does finally get out, and then you see the baby for the first time, and it's just like got flies around it.
I'm glad they didn't show it close up.
Yeah, you see it from like a wide shot, but there's like flies and
wide shot. It's like blurry.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking.
It really is. It was that was really tough. The crying of that baby, like I paused it and I considered just like fast forwarding through it. It was so upsetting that I was like, I do not, but I didn't, you know, because it's important to the story to feel with her. You know, but like it was so upsetting that I was really this close from just being like, I need to not experience this anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
dude, I was reading that after this movie came out, there are actually, well, it's been 4 years, so I don't know if they're still active, but there are like support groups that popped up for Palestinians. I guess probably anyone would have been welcome, but there are Palestinian emotional support groups that popped up for people who watched this movie and needed help like processing the trauma that it stirred up.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of Palestinian people, the author of this article I read was a Palestinian American from Texas, and she was saying like the majority of Palestinians aren't really in touch with their history in this type of an intimate way, because their stories have not been told and have not broken through Western media. Yeah. So if you're like a Palestinian, or, you know, your grandparents are from Palestine or whatever, however you identify, but you don't live there and you're not directly connected to the like local events, you really don't have anything to go off of, because the stuff
where's the context? It got erased on purpose.
Yeah,
that's the
suppressed.
whole fucking thing, you know?
So you see something like this and it just triggers in you like almost like a genetic memory, like a genealogical connection to like trauma.
Generational.
Yeah. You're like, holy shit, like this is real and this is like what my people went through. And yeah, the support groups were important, I think, for a lot of people to like process seeing that.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies, a lot of fucked up, crazy movies. That was one of the hardest scenes I've seen in a long time, easily.
Yeah, and it's not like it's gory. It's not like...
It's the psychological aspect of it.
Right. It's just the actuality of what you're realizing that humans can do and have done. And it's like once you accept this as like true, like this was a true event, it just makes you sick.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was heart-wrenching.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to say about the film itself.
Not really. I mean, she gets out. You know, she finds a gun. She finds a gun in the place where...
That's how she gets out. She shoots the door open finally.
Yeah. And you can tell, I mean, how inexperienced she is with guns, too.
She doesn't even load it at first. She just shoots it and it just clicks. She's like, oh, yeah, I need bullets.
Yeah. Like, and she's so, like, almost, like, trauma-stricken and probably in shock. She's not even, like, she doesn't even aim for the lock at first. She just hits it by luck on the last shot, you know?
The other thing, so I mentioned that the camera stays with Farha the entire movie. The other interesting thing about this movie is that it also takes place entirely in one location.
True.
It's literally...
I mean, the grotto...
is right in their village.
Yeah, that
it's like right outside of where she lives.
Yeah, like literally it's like, 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's just in their house and at that pond.
Yeah.
Those are the only two locations, and they're basically like a part of the same location area. So you only see the perspective of this one girl, and she only ever stays in the perspective of the village.
I mean, that's probably also the only place she's ever been,
Up to this point, I think it's implied that it is.
Yeah.
Like, this is her whole world that's being destroyed.
Yeah.
It's such a good way of telling a story.
Yeah.
I've never thought to make a film like that, or like to write a story like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you take out the context of this being like such a tragic movie
and such a like political movie,
and traumatic or whatever, this is just a great like storytelling mechanism.
Absolutely. I mean,
one character, one location, point of view,
just heavy duty chops on the acting, like
it's cool, man. I can't imagine that like it costs too much to make. Like it has to be very practical, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's all. Yeah, it's all. The set was probably nothing.
It's just one set.
Yeah, it's just the set. There's literally the set, the location. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Delicatessen in that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, let's just film in this hotel set or whatever.
Yeah.
Your whole budget is just building the set, paying the actors, lighting the place.
They probably shot it pretty close to an order, at least the 40 minutes in the thing too, in the root cellar. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we watched this specifically to counterbalance what we watched last week.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have two perspectives, one Jewish, one Palestinian, one leading up to the Nakba from the perspective of like an Israeli settler, and one living through the Nakba from the perspective of a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that like everybody out there who watches these movies or has listened to us talk about the movies understands that these are like hotly contested perspectives.
Yes.
These are subjective, like politically motivated stories that are being told.
For sure. I mean, like, I would argue, this movie in particular, in comparison to the last one, is just directly contested fully by lots of people,
Yeah.
Whether or not that's a factual contestment or whatever.
Right. I just want to draw attention to that so that as a viewer, you can take the responsibility for your own opinions, because you need to pay attention. Okay, if a movie's being contested, why?
Yeah.
By whom?
Yes.
What agenda does that contester have?
What money is behind that contester?
So there's a lot of questions that you have to answer before you can formulate a reasonable, responsible opinion.
Also love it just kind of requires a baseline history. True. You need to be moderately informed going into these sort of movies so you're not just being
swept up.
Yeah, fed these facts, potential lies or truths on either side,
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching this movie this movie really drove home the sort of almost disgust in a way that I feel that these events weren't even brought up in the other
with
movie.
the first movie. Yeah, me too.
And it's hard because I mean, obviously that right now is more volatile than ever when it comes to the Israel state versus Palestinian state sort of situation, but that's never ended since the beginning of the creation of Israel. I mean, in 2014 was when the last time before the 2022 October situation was a big, conflict. And that was a year before A Tale of Love and Darkness, and there was still no acknowledgement to the other side.
Right. It's been going on since the Nakba.
But you can say that same thing. I mean, there's no, in this one, there's certainly no sympathy really towards the Jewish population.
Right.
Whatsoever.
That's one of the things that I took away was that these are people who, and this is true, right? They already exist here. They are living their lives in the place that they call home. And then all of a sudden, like,
British
the UN and Britain decide to, like, place all of these Jewish refugees, like, in their territory.
Yeah.
Right? So now they're just, like, they have to deal with this situation that they didn't, like, sign up to deal with because of, like, England's choices.
I mean, as well as a lot of...
Well, the whole UN voted on it.
Yeah, the whole UN and, ultra-Zionist people. They wanted an Israeli state. Mm-hmm.
I noticed that the characters in this film, the first thing that you see from them is Islam. Mm-hmm. You see religion being taught, practiced, revered, whereas in the other movie, you get actually like almost no dosage of religion.
Yeah, it's just the Jewish people.
It's just like
state.
Yeah, it's the Jewish culture, and then the state. It's a much more like civic culture. It's like, well, in the movie, it's portrayed as a more like civic culture rather than religious. And then they're like cheering on the vote by the UN.
Yeah.
They're very like politically engaged globally, like tied in with like the UN and England and America and stuff.
Well, it's because they consider themselves a Western country.
Yeah, and you see how that's played out. Whereas in this movie, they're not. Their sovereignty is actually they're occupied by the British already. Yeah. So they're already like a colonialized state that's leaning on their religion, and they don't have that sort of like political outlet. Right, they're just already in a position where they're being oppressed.
Yeah.
So then...
And then it just creates a further, more concrete apartheid state.
Watching these two movies back to back has really made me think of this whole like Gaza conflict through the lens of colonialism, like much more than I did before these movies.
Yes. I mean, realistically, bro, that is 75 years ago.
Yeah.
That's not very long. That's
it's one lifetime.
That's one guy,
It's just a lifetime of like the consequences of colonialism, and I just didn't really like it's not something I've ever studied or like
Yeah.
I'm like broadly aware of the historical context, but I've never like read books on the matter. So like I've just never really associated the UN or Britain with this issue.
Yeah.
Right. But now it's just much clearer to me that it's like their fault in a large way. I'm not trying to absolve war criminal Bibi Netanyahu, right? The man's a bastard and he's perpetrating war crimes and genocide right now. He has to take responsibility for that ultimately, and all of his like fascist ministers, his Zionist ministers. But the preconditions that he inherited are the consequences of like British colonialism.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just, like you said, though, just no matter what, it doesn't absolve current day things. You're still making a choice every day that you go and kill another Palestinian child.
Yes, exactly.
That is what the bottom line is. It's like if you really wanted to, you could, as a state of Israel, like eliminate everybody you consider a threat and still not touch the children or women. Like, you could do that. And it would still probably be wrong. It would be wrong in a lot of ways.
Of course,
you know?
it would be wrong still.
It's just like, ugh, man. Yeah, I when I was probably like 15, 16, I stumbled across this journalist named Abby Martin through the podcast networks and such. And she was talking about this stuff a long time ago, and I kind of followed her story on it. So I had been more informed, I think, than the average person for at least my age group. Mm-hmm. And then, in 2022, when this really, when October 7th happened, it really punched in that awareness to a whole nother level. And I'm glad that it's on the world stage to be discussed right now. I just wish it wasn't, because there's an ongoing genocide.
For sure. Yeah, it's terrible.
It really is.
So think about this stuff. Think about it critically. Don't blindly support a political position when you have no experience with the reality.
Yeah.
Show empathy, because a lack of empathy is like really what drives all of this.
Yeah.
Like, the ability to kill a baby is a fundamental lack of empathy.
Well, when it just comes down to it, it's just killing people.
Yeah.
Killing people is wrong. I don't know why.
I just said baby because it's the purest symbol that you could kill.
Of course, but just
if you can just like kill someone because someone told you to, you're a problem. That's a problem.
Absolutely.
Like, I would never join the army. We've watched a bunch of war movies so far on the pod, and you take a movie like Saving Private Ryan, they get the prisoner of war. Okay. You have a debate. Should we kill him? Should we not kill him? Maybe there's, maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're right based on the information you have and the sort of like the ethical reasoning you take. But it's a debate, and it's something that you have to live with. If someone tells me to kill a baby, there's just no context in any war scenario you could put me in that I accept that order.
No, that's in fact, it's probably going to end up being me turning on you. Like,
right.
I don't trust you
now
anymore.
It's a mutiny.
Now we have a problem because you clearly are not a sane person.
Right. If some sniveling colonialist like British captain tells me to execute a baby then move out.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you're dead.
Right.
Yeah, but then again, that's still not answering the problem of like, it's just war itself is fundamentally wrong. As human beings, we should not be fighting each other. There should be better ways to come about living.
Absolutely.
And I really hope in my lifetime that I see some sort of fruition to that actually being explored, but I find it fucking hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, Star Trek has had the theory that if we could just separate ourselves from need, then the war would just go away naturally,
Yeah.
So that's one way of looking at it is, the way to eradicate war is not to like eradicate conflict per se, but just give everyone everything they need. Like, create so much abundance that war just like isn't worth it. Doesn't make sense. What would you war about?
War doesn't make sense. Greed doesn't make sense because you have everything.
What would you fight about if you all have everything? Right. And I just think that there probably could come a time where maybe if we can install enough like renewable energy and clean fusion and stuff like that, and we can maybe use like some sort of utopian sci-fi technology to like clean the atmosphere and like restore the balance of our environment.
Live in harmony with nature.
Maybe like
real.
200 years from now, we could live in like a post-scarcity utopia.
Yeah.
And the concept of war will be laughed at.
Yeah.
But until we make those technological advancements to make that physically possible, we'll just have to have these conversations and keep pushing back on the ethics of it all and protest in the streets and all that good stuff.
That is exactly right.
It's the best we can do for now.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Well, this is a 10.
You're giving it a 10?
I'm giving it a 10.
Wow.
Yeah, personally. I mean, on a story level, on a acting level, on a critical theory level, technical level, I don't see a flaw in this movie. It made me feel immensely, I mean, the acting of Farha herself was so fucking top tier.
I really can't argue with any of that.
Yeah.
I think the technical, production side of the filmmaking in this movie is amazing.
Yeah.
The directing, shot composition, and then you include, the acting.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal, especially from such a young actress.
Yeah.
And I really think that the understated acting of the father was really powerful.
Totally.
His ability to communicate a lot with almost no facial movements.
Yeah, for real.
Really cool and good.
And
good
just
job.
the way you could he did approve of her reaching out, wanting to learn.
He loved his father, wanted the best, or loved his daughter.
Yeah.
Wanted the best for her. Mm-hmm. Had to operate within the constraints of his Palestinian culture, but wanted to be more progressive than he could be as a mayor. There's a lot of conflict in that character, but he almost doesn't show any of it. But that's why it works so well. It's so understated. Really good.
I guess I might adjust my score to between a 9 and 10. I could give it a 9.5 only because there is a lot of still objective bias in the movie.
I was gonna give it maybe a 9 or 9.5.
Yeah.
Just because, even though it does serve the story and it serves the emotional arc of the story well, it was still a little slow.
It was.
The pacing felt like it dragged in the middle. And I think who knows? Maybe if you change the pacing, it ruins the movie. I can't tell you that. But for me, I just don't think that it was quite it wasn't quite like a perfect movie for me. It was very good.
Yeah.
I would recommend it for sure. I think
Heavily.
So many components of this were expertly made, but I just think it was a little slow, and at times it did drag, and I sort of found myself looking at the clock and be like, how long has she been in this root cellar?
Yeah. I mean, I guess
40 minutes.
That was also just, I think that took me off guard a little bit because I was just so not expecting it that it felt even longer,
Dude.
But yeah, it was a little slow, but it was never a boring slow, it was just.
Yeah, boring wouldn't be the right word.
Yeah.
It just felt like, I don't know, you just sit there for a while. And maybe it's just a different film than I'm used to. And for my particular tastes, in terms of movement and energy and stuff, I think it's a little subdued.
Yeah, I'm more than happy with the Quiet in the Back.
It's a strong 9.
Yeah, I'm more than happy with the Quiet in the Back 9.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to say, when she first went in that cellar, she was in there for 2 minutes, and I was like, I wonder how long this is going to go.
I know.
And then it turned into 5. I was like, they're really committing to it. I was after 5 minutes.
35 minutes later.
5 minutes became 10. And I was like, wow, this is they're really breaking the rules. 10 turned into 40. I was like, this is the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It's the entire second half of the film.
Yeah.
With 3 minutes at the end after she gets out.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But yeah. Okay, Quiet in the Back, solid 9, strong 9.
Yeah, 100%. Fantastic movie. Watch it. Thank you for making it this far to the end. Tell us what you think about all the shit that we talked about today. Whose side are you on? Comment, like, and subscribe.
Tell us what you think about the colonial invasion of Palestine and the downstream effects.
Oh my fucking God.
And share with your family, friends, subscribe. Are the Jews in the wrong? Is Netanyahu a saint or a sinner?
Okay. Holy, yeah. This has been Quiet in the Back.
When you tell a story, please don't tell me half a story just can't be the whole thing. That's just math.